I guess I should talk about this is what I've learned about criminals, and like this is what people study in criminology, I think, is criminal activities and or criminal behavior. And it has something to do with it encompasses a lot of criminal activity, but there are people who engage in criminal activity and they're not criminals. Those are typically mentally ill people or people from socioeconomic problems background. Speaking like they have socioeconomic problems as in they're from poor families, they're from nuclear families, they don't have a lot of affluence, such as they don't know a lot of people, they don't have a lot of friends, they have a few acquaintances, they work very minimum wage jobs with like they have no skills or experiences to talk about. Those are the poor class, those are the lower class that people are talking about. If you don't have a lot of skills, you don't have any experience, you don't know many languages, nothing that really contributes to society, but you are still capable of working. Your family members aren't very well known. You don't know a lot of people outside of your family members, and your family members only know like a few people, like maybe their neighbors and a few like friends that they've met while they're going to school and all that kind of stuff. That's the lower income people. They're not very affluential. As in, their choice and their judgment affects nothing other than other corporations taking into account their opinions and assessment of how they perceive things in order to market things better to them so that they like it better, so they continue having their business. That's the people the lower income people are talking about. Like, it doesn't really matter how much money you make, even if you're lower income. That's your income bracket. And most of your money you make is going to your family and to maintain your whatever life you have, which is gonna be within pretty much the same town or the same country you were born in. As in, if you take somebody from the lower income and you put them in a different country, despite even knowing that language, they won't even be able to do much. Like, literally, they can't do much. Typically, they'll end up on the streets or in prison. That's the lower income. With criminals, I guess they're not all lower income. And the only reason that with criminals, like they actually, the thing with them is that they actually do things because they like doing the criminal activity, and they'll only do so if they can actually get something out of it. As in, there's monetary compensation or reward, or they gain social influence that way. But if you're not a criminal and you're doing that kind of stuff, you're gonna face problems such as prison time, repo. You're gonna become ostracized in your community. You're gonna probably go down a few social classes to be in the lower income. How well, because with criminal people, they don't actually care about the victims or people involved, because they like most, this is what non-criminal people are like. They actually care about these people, right? Like, and this is, I'm not talking about people who are defending themselves and it's outside of self-defense, as in they haven't been wronged, so that's just self-defense. If somebody's been wronged and they're doing that kind of stuff, that's the reason why they don't care. But with criminals, it doesn't really matter what you've done to them or not. They just don't care about the victims and the people that they're hurting, as long as they can achieve their means, which is getting what it is that they need. What is it that they need? How would I know? Maybe they need to do some community service. Maybe they need extra cash. Maybe they need to do something for their family. Maybe their family members need cash or something. Like, don't be confused that they're very well aware of their social obligations. And the logistics of legal and all that kind of stuff. In China, what happened was that I think they stopped doing public executions. because that's what they used to do back in the day in the East Asian area. They would just they'd execute every criminal. Like, just doesn't matter what kind of criminal it was, they just kill them on the spot. And it was causing problems because there were people who said that that was disproportionate to what was happening or the crime that they committed. And some of them said, this was my husband, this was my father, this was my brother, this was my sister, this was my aunt, this was my uncle, my whatever, this was my friends, like only close friend I had, and you thought it was okay to do that. And they were getting very belligerent. They're getting very upset at the noblemen and the kings and queens who were involved in governing the area for doing that kind of stuff. They said it wasn't fair, that wasn't okay. So the way they went about it was they just and there was Mao who was pushing for this kind of public reform too, and that's kind of how a lot of them ended up, just like they had to go to prison for a bit and then they got released. And prison was a really bad place. Like, it was unhygienic, no one was being like properly taken care of or anything. No one was really looking after any of it. But that's what that was. And they're like, that's a bad place to go, so you're not gonna do that bad thing anymore, right? But after people left prison, everyone just ignored them. Literally, nobody wanted to be friends with them. Everybody knew what they did, and they thought, like, you know what, at least you're still alive, right? And I guess a bunch of people who went through that kind of stuff, they felt like a little, it's not really nice to be ostracized in your community. It's like nobody really includes you in anything, nobody really wants to talk to you, nobody wants to hang out with you. They wouldn't want to hire you for any job, and even if you're hired there, literally all your coworkers ignore you, don't include you in anything. So that makes them feel like it's... Oh my god, I just realized what she did. Oh my bitch. She was literally being a bitch to me. Oh my god. No, she was not being a bitch to me. She was being a bitch to her manager. She pulled a bitch move. I was like, bitch. But yeah, no, she's like... She wasn't really yelling at me. She did something to get fired. Yeah, she didn't want to work there anymore, and she just didn't know how to quit because she actually didn't have a reason to quit, even though it was a terrible place to work. No, it wasn't really terrible. I think she hated the manager, honestly. I didn't know what the fuck her problem was. But she did that to get out of work, and I was like... But anyway... Oh my god. Yeah, with criminals, what actually ends up happening is, like, they, like, let's say they need a car because it's hard to get around without a car. Then they would do something to get that car, but it would be in the way of hurting somebody. Like, either through, like, theft, robbery, fraud, scam, or whatever. They may not even be involved in it, but they would be kind of involved in it in a way so they can get what they need. So this is kind of how criminal court, by the way. I mean, don't... Like, court as in, like, this is how they convince people to date them and be involved with them socially outside of dating. If that makes sense. It's just kind of like John Wayne Gacy, he required ritual sacrifices and nobody really cared or noticed because they hated his target's family, right? They all hated that person, the family that the kid was from, and they were just relieved the family was going through some suffering. Really happy about that. And then what happened was, is there a person stalking me? I think so. They don't understand this. This is what I mean by the fact that these are the types of people that actually end up in prison, not really people who actually instigate that kind of stuff. Like, they do everything they can to try to catch these guys, and they end up getting killed or murdered or something because they have no idea what the social schematics are like. Okay, prison is for a place for people who do stupid things that cost people money for no reason. You're wasting people's money and time. That's where they go when, like a baby throwing a tantrum because they don't have their needs met, except it's a grown adult and they don't really need to throw a tantrum to get their needs met, right? It's just, you're wasting everyone's time and money, and that's why they end up in prison. And they don't really understand the social rules because they're from a lower social class, like they're poor. So they just don't like that fact, and then they do all that kind of stuff, so they just send them to prison, and then there's like, we'll leave it over there. Like, people who actually do those criminal activities can do it without going to prison for it, because it's not hard to evade the local law enforcement. This is why they were trying to like control everything, I think, but they're really stupid. But yeah, like John Wayne Gacy, he required ritual sacrifices such as killing of innocent children, so he can maintain. That was the only reason you would get that guy to work. He had a job, he had a significant other, and he was able to work. Why? So he can. Why did he do those things? If he didn't have a job, he would have no money, and he would have no places to live, and his girlfriend would leave him. And if that happened, then people start suspecting that there was something wrong with him. And he wouldn't be able to have enough money to pay guys off who are actually criminals, who actually did know what he was doing, or have enough of an influence to get those guys actually legitimate jobs, so they wouldn't be able to like target him or do anything. You know what I mean? And he also did it to get the law enforcement off his back, because he's still paying taxes and he's contributing in some way. So that's what he was doing. And the reason why he was doing that is so he can start killing innocent kids and be involved in child abduction and kidnapping. He doesn't actually know any other criminal. That's the thing. That's why he got caught. That's why he got sent to prison, because he wasn't supporting anyone. Yeah, he was supporting people who were pro-social, but those aren't the people who sent people to prison. Customers are required to wear a cloth mask or face covering when traveling on the DTC. Some exceptions apply. Please visit bbc.ca/mask. That's okay, what he said. I just don't know something. Oh yeah. But yeah, those are the people who actually end up in prison. I know, it's surprising. It doesn't even matter what job you work. If you're a poor person, you don't know what you're doing, you don't have any friends, and you're not really supporting anybody. And support means like you're actually doing something like, you know, emotional support is still support. Social support is still support. Those things are like, typically you get that from your friends and family, right? Most people are emotionally social supported by friends and family. Sometimes your neighbors will do that if you're a kid and you live in a neighborhood and like your parents are going through a hard time, or maybe your parents are going through a divorce and they don't really have time for that kind of stuff for you. So maybe your relatives get step in, or your neighbors step in, or whatever. That's pretty normal, but yeah, those are like, if you're not really like helping them out. John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy and all those guys, they weren't actually helping anybody out. That's the thing. They did that for, it's very selfish what they were doing, which is why they ended up in prison. As in, how was it helping anyone? It wasn't helping the economy, it wasn't helping anyone else. He was just doing things because people liked it. Right? They're like, this is something people like. They actually were happy about that kind of stuff, and I'm actually getting something out of it too. So why not? That's why he went to prison. Everything's so normal up until that point where you're just like, you need like virgin sacrifices to keep running? Are you insane? And then like, not only that, he was stupid enough to leave evidence everywhere, and I'm just like, alright. You have to be careful about people who are trying to like make you feel like things are okay and this is okay to do and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's the thing with criminals, like they do that all the time. Typically, if you want to know, I asked when I was a really young kid, because there are a lot of people who are involved in that kind of stuff and they're criminals, but they do it to really poor income families who are in a lot of debt. So they're like, you can get out of it that way. Like, it might take you, like, it won't even last that long enough to be able to pay off all your debt. Like, honestly, realistically speaking, how are you going to pay off your debt if you are, like, let's say your family is in, like, 50 to 100K in debt, and nobody's willing to hire you, and how are you going to support yourself or the rest of your family? That's, like, kind of, like, what they're looking at when they are doing that kind of stuff. Not really, like, why? No. like, oh, I'm a good person, I actually care about other people, and I'm such a good blah 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 blah. And they're like, yeah, so you and everyone else on earth has people that they and things that they care about. Like, I'm so sorry, but again, if you're a pro-social, you're a criminal, you're doing that kind of stuff, you actually care about the person that you're involved with, and you want to help them out, and you do things because you like them, show that you like them, and you want to hold hands, and you want to hug each other, and you want to say all these nice things about each other. Whereas if you're a criminal, you're like, okay, yeah, we don't really care. Yeah, I know he's hurting the innocent kid, but I don't give a shit. Bro, what the fuck? We're telling me this. Am I that kid? Blah, 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 blah. But that's like not in like a anti-social way, but in a pro-social way. That's what pro-social people are like, but criminals are like in an anti-social way. Like, criminal would be like, I heard that guy because he hates 12-year-olds. Yeah, he literally hates every 12-year-old in existence, and every time a 12-year-old walks into the store, he just yells at them because they're 12. That's why I heard that guy. Huh? Why do you want him to do that? Like, why do you want 12-year-olds to, like, get hated on when they're in this store? And he's like, because they're annoying. I hate kids at that age too, but I can't do that. So I heard that guy. That's what criminals do. It seems so pro-social, right? Because like, that guy is gonna have a hard time finding a job, helping somebody out, but yeah. A pro-social person would be like sending that guy to seminars and trying to help that guy out, talking to all his families and friends and stuff, and saying like, oh, did something happen when he was younger? Like, he just seems to like hate 12-year-olds and like just doesn't want to be like around 12-year-olds or whatever. And then yeah, just he didn't really do it. They didn't do anything. It just seems like, oh, like, is there anything I can do to like get him to like 12-year-olds and stuff? And like, not in a pedophile way, but it's like, maybe he has like unresolved issues about like, you know, blah. I was like, well, maybe he has unresolved. Do you know? I know actually. One of my classmates actually did get into therapy. You know, I could get him to see that person if you want. Like, yeah, those are pro-social people. Those are not what criminals do. Okay, those are normal people, normal everyday functioning people. That's what they're like. Like the criminal people are like, yeah, no, I don't give a shit. How can you tell? Well, because criminals typically don't care about anything that's not affecting them directly. Most people do. Like, you know when like a new person moves into the neighborhood and all the neighbors are like really curious and they want to see what they're like, and they invite them and like go to neighborhood picnics and like try to introduce them to the people that they know and everything to like get them involved in the community and everything. Criminals are kind of the opposite. Yeah, they just don't really do any of that. But they're doing that because they're expecting you not to ask them for anything. Like, I don't want to help you. Go away. I already have so much on my plate right now because I have to pay for a house. You know the stereotype of old people who are like all senile and crotchety and like, yeah, complain all the time and like, you kids get off my lawn. Yeah, that's a criminal. But they didn't do anything illegal. It's just they're not really helping people out. That's why it's criminal, like these kind of criminal. That's how we can spot them. I don't know if I've ever seen the movie Eternal Sunshine or Spotless Mind. No. There's a guy, he's about Joel and Clementine. Joel's a criminal. But you can't tell because Clementine's the one in prison. She's the one with the criminal history, right? Why? Because Joel doesn't do that kind of stuff. Like, he doesn't, because he knows he does that, he's gonna get sent to prison, so he doesn't do that. But, how can you tell he's a criminal? He doesn't care about Clementine. He likes her, he doesn't care about her. That's how you know. He actually likes hanging out with her, and he's like, look, she's pretty good, you know. I don't she went to prison, it's just problems. She's, if I could get to know her, she's actually pretty likable. That's what he said. Because Clementine is a person who doesn't really give people shit for what they did wrong. Right? She's like, I know, but I still like, I'm trying not to like judge you for it. She doesn't judge people for what they did wrong, and she still like accepts them anyway. Right? Even though it doesn't look like it, and she's not from a poor family and everything, but like, he's like, yeah, she's still likable. And, she really doesn't like try to like put people down or anything. Like, I think that's like that's the whole character, is like she doesn't care about what other people are doing wrong, and she doesn't give them shit for it, even though she knows it's not okay for them to do that kind of stuff. But she still like cares about other people, and she wants to get to know them, and like she cares about like all that kind of stuff. And she won't actually hang out with you unless she actually likes you, which is good. You know, she's a good person. You know, and that's why Joel's like, Joel really likes her. I was like, yeah, she's being a good person. I know she has some problems, and Clementine has problems. Clementine has a lot of problems, but she's actually very likable. Because she doesn't hate anybody, and she doesn't care about stuff that they do wrong. If they're friends, then they're friends. And you can't really judge people for what they did, because if you're actually friends with them, then that means you still accept them even with all their past and all that kind of stuff. And Joel likes that about her. Joel doesn't care about her because he's using her to court another woman. That's the entire movie. Yeah, he's using her as a way to tell another woman, you know, I'm thinking about you. Like one of those Hallmark greeting cards. I think he's trying to get at a Chinese woman and say, I'm thinking about you. Who is he thinking about? I don't know, actually. It's never mentioned in the movie who he's actually trying to talk about, but that's the entire movie. Why is he like that? Because he thinks Clementine is like, there's girls like that everywhere, but he likes Clementine for who she is, because she actually enjoys spending time with Joel, which is why he's so important to her. And that's really likable about somebody. Really, really, like, it's really sad. Like, I hate people like what? That's a good thing about her, and he really likes her because of it. And what else? Joel likes the fact that what else? What else does about Clementine does he like? I don't know. Oh, she actually accepts him for who he is. That's the thing. He's like, she has problems and all that kind of. She's not actually very good, but if you get to know her, she's actually very likable. I don't. There's a lot of things about her you may not like, but if you actually knew her and had a relationship with her, you'd like her very much. She's a very likable person. And with Joel, he's a criminal. He's a bad guy, and he's been stalking her, and he's doing all that kind of stuff to tell her like, I did this because then you won't leave me this way. Yeah, if I did another way, you'd leave me. You'd leave for another guy. And the reason why Clementine likes Joel is because he likes her for who she is and what she's doing. And he doesn't care if he's not forcing her to change, you know? Like, she's supposed to go see therapists or whatever, try to improve her life and all that kind of stuff, improve her quality of life. And he doesn't actually care. He literally doesn't care. He's like, oh, it's fine. Like, if you don't want to do those things, I'm not gonna force you. It doesn't change how I see you, because I see you as a person, not as like just a problem, you know? Like, and I do this because I care about you. All kind of stuff. And Clementine likes that, so. Oh yeah, and also the entire thing is like, you're supposed to be happy for them. Those two. Finding each other. You're not supposed to hate them for it, because you know, he's a bad guy and she's like, she has problems, and yeah, she has problems and he's a bad guy, and like they managed to find each other and they really like being with each other, which is why they're together. You know, and you can't really like say much. Like some people are gonna hate them for it. Some people are gonna try to break them apart or whatever. And like you shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. Because they actually like being with each other, and it's not like no one was forcing them. And then yeah, he's doing it the wrong way because he's a bad guy. And she's like not really. He's doing that because she's a criminal, and she's like trying to tell her this is kind of like you did something wrong in your life, and this is how other people felt too. But I don't hate you for it. But I'm gonna say you can't leave me. Yeah, he's playing with her. Why? Because he wants to tell another woman I'm interested in marrying you. So what do you think? Why did he say that? I don't know. I think he assumed that she was gonna think that he's a piece of shit. I don't know why they're all like this. As in guys who do that kind of stuff to impress a woman. And saying, oh, why did I wasn't even gonna say that, but why did you say that? Yeah. But, okay. But yeah, with criminals, that's what they're like. Joel's a criminal. But Clementine is the one that went to prison because she did something really stupid. She was wasting people's money and time. Don't do that. Oh, also, if you ever felt like you were doing something bad because you went on a date and you weren't interested in that guy afterwards, don't feel that way. I mean, the whole point of going on a date is both of you are putting it at risk, right? Like you spend your money, time, and energy with each other, and you're risking your social life and your reputation to meet this guy you don't actually know too much about. Unless you're dating a friend, that means you guys are going steady. Yeah, if you date your friend, you guys are going steady right off on the first date. And if you do that, then you just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, that's what that is. So like, if you are dating, if you're dating a friend, then you guys are going steady, and then you end up seeing each other and you get married. That's Beauty and the Beast. You don't always are getting married. Oh, so cute. But if you want to get married, you can. I don't know why you do not want to be friends with your friend anymore. Is that what that is? It's just again, it sounds like Beauty and the Beast. It's just weird. Oh, there was this thing that what's it called? Oh, the kidnapper woman was trying to tell me. She's like, what? I think she wanted to watch like 2 or 3 movies with me. I think it was 3. I forget which ones. I think it was 2. What was La La Land and what was Beauty and the Beast? And La La Land was like, I don't know if anybody's seen it. So it's like Ryan Gosling was in it, and they were trying to market him as like this really likable, like he's so hot, blah blah blah. Like he looks like a fucking cute rat. He's so ugly. Oh god. He's literally so ugly. Yeah, so that's like what the entire movie was like. This girl, and she wanted to be an actress, and she wasn't getting hired for any gigs, and she was still living at her parents' house. She couldn't make it in the city or whatever after living with a bunch of girls. Yeah, she was living with a bunch of women. Like all her flatmates were women. They were living. I don't know how that's gonna work. Honestly, you wanna be roommates with a bunch of women? How is that gonna work? Have you tried living in a house full of women? It doesn't work that way. That's what I'm, excuse me, sorry. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really roommates with women. Kind of. I mean, they'll hate you if you're doing everything right. Unless you guys are family. Yeah, that's the only way you can live together if you're all women, is if you guys are genetically and biologically related to each other. But then it gets kind of weird, right? It's like, oh, you're like 30 years old and you're still rooming with your sister. Like, you need to kind of move out of your family's house at this point. I think that's what the whole Pride and Prejudice book was trying to say. Like, if you do that, like, you're gonna end up marrying your family member. You should really get out. There was also another movie, I think Jordan and Key Peele, Jordan or something like that. They made a movie to Get Out. Stop living with your family members past the age of like 30. Like, it's just kind of weird. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know what? Like, if you don't if you don't want to like do any other kind of stuff, that's funny. That's so funny. But yeah, what was I talking about before? Yeah, it was La La Land, and she was like doing everything wrong, and she was expecting things to work out. And there was a guy who was seeing her, and his dream was to open up a bar. That's it. That's only one life. He's like, I want to save up enough money and open a bar. And he was a jazz lounge singer, and they ended up dating for a bit, but he was on the road all the time because he was trying to get his music out, right? He's like, he wanted people to know that he's a good musician and make some money for saving enough money to open up a bar. He was on the road a lot, and they never really spent time together. At no point in the movie did she ever make the effort to be like, I know you're going to this city, I'm gonna actually find a hotel room or something, or because I know he's getting paid through your work and your contract, you're on contract with that, so I can't actually just stay there, but I'll find a place and then I'll support you that way, and that way after work you can still see each other. She doesn't do any of that. She just argues and yells at him every time like he comes back, and he's like, why did you spend time with me? And it's like, yeah, she's lazy. But like he likes her, he likes being with her because he likes her. That's what he says. He said he likes her. That's why they're together. And then in the movies, it's like, oh, do you not want to be with that guy? What is it? No, it's just Belle being a bad bitch. And the other one is just like, I don't know if he was trying to get rid of her or anything. Cause they all work in the same industry, so maybe that's his way of taking her out. And then finding her, like, if you actually want to work, you need to actually, pick up your bootstraps and get to work or whatever. I don't know, I don't trust it. Anyway, the other movie he was in called The Notebook was like about like yelling at each other about stuff that they had nothing to do with. Yeah, that was the entire movie. Just taking notes. We're like, oh, this is what people do. Okay, we do it to each other now. Ha! That's alright. I never liked that movie. I hate it so much I cried. I was like, this is the worst shit I've ever seen. So people thought I would cry because it was so like romantic and moving and touching. I'm like, no, I hate it. It's like if you put a bowl of shit next to me and my eyes start watering because it stinks so much. That's how I felt, and I was like, no, why? But yeah, back to the criminal stuff. How do you know people are criminals? Oh, jeez, I don't know. They're like, they don't care about other people the way they're supposed to. Like, you can't really tell when you're making money and when you're working with that person. Especially with some certain groups of people, I've noticed they actually like it when they like are forced to hang out with their coworkers and there's problems at work, and then they have to go to work seminars and work functions and like work trips and business trips and all that kind of stuff. They like that kind of stuff. Yeah, they really like that kind of stuff. And then when they're in like a business function or like they have to go to a seminar out of city and like they are forced to stay in the same hotel or motel place, pay for like corporate to like increase employee relations and get them to work out better output or whatever, synergy, business terms. And then they all like get to hang out after work because they're forced to, because they don't have enough time to like network with the people in the area. They have to network with people who are all other people from different businesses who are also attending a seminar. And then they're like, you have to all hang out together, let's get to know each other a little better, and then they go to bars and have drinks after work or whatever. Yeah, they like that kind of stuff. Some people hate it, some people like it. Regardless, you won't be able to tell if that person's a criminal just by looking at that. How can you tell? Are they actively involved in the community because they actually care about that person? Because if you actually care about that person, like, you'll have opinions about that person and you'll want to do things. This is how you know they care, is because they're asking around about that person. You know, it's like, oh, like, I've noticed that there's some problems with this person, you know, and I also know a person who actually knows a lot about those kind of stuff. Do you think he'd be, or she would be interested in seeing that person for that thing? Or like, it just seems like this person's having personal problems. Is there anything I can do about that kind of stuff? And then they try to talk to you about it, try to, like, you know, giving you all those, like, hey there, champ, so how things going? Yeah, that kind of stuff. That's what they do. That's how you know that they actually care. I know it doesn't seem like they care. It's kind of weird way to care about somebody, but that's how you tell. Like, hey there, little guy. What are you going through? To me, it sounds scary. You're trying to get out of me. But yeah. What else? Typically, criminals' need for friends are very low. Typically, not always. Like in some countries, I think Japan specifically, they like people who are Japanese, they don't actually have a high need for friends. Like you can still get by like talking to people and like socializing that way. So at least they just consider all under socialization. Whereas people like they socialize and they're not really fulfilling the social criteria unless they're like talking to their actual friends and family and stuff. But like with Japanese people, they don't really have a need for that, and that's kind of why it's like that. Like they don't really need like to talk to their friends and family all the time, and they're fine with like I don't know, talking to people who just don't mind being around them or whatever. That's what it's like in Japan. Apparently, from what I see. Ew, I have phlegm. I have really bad allergies, like I'm like almost dying. Can you catch a criminal? And it's hard to catch a person who's actively benefiting the community, but at the same time it's like not socially acceptable. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't do it that way if you don't actually care about that person, but it's actually helping everyone out. Like it's not really inappropriate, but it's like if you do that, it means you have to be friends with that person. It means you have to care about them, to keep in contact, and even if they do anything wrong to hurt you or whatever, you can't just weasel your way out of it. That kind of stuff doesn't really make sense to people who are criminals. They're like, I did something good. Like, yeah, but now that means that you're friends with them now. And they're like, yeah, that's how they look at you after you tell them. Yeah, and it's like, yes. Yeah, it's just like, no, you can't just do that and then not talk to them after, and they're like, yes, that's what that means. And it's like, no. But I guess as long as they're not actually like hurting other people, it's fine. Is it hard to get them to work? Yeah. Like they actually have to want to do it, or they have to need to do it. And because it doesn't fulfill their own needs, because like I think that's just how they're wired genetically. Like it doesn't fulfill a need or a want when most people who are pro-social, it's a need or a want they have to want to get to know other people and be involved that way. With people who are criminals, like that's not part of their needs or want. I guess it's not that hard, I guess, to talk to criminal people. Like I wouldn't suggest talking to criminals. Dear God. Oh, when I was younger, I had to ask some of them for help because they were the only people who knew what that was, and some of them I didn't know about this part, but it was because I was really young and I was like, I should probably ask people for help who know what that is. If I ask people who don't know what that is, they can't help me because they don't know. Because I was probably like what 8 to 10 year olds. 8 to 10 year old, right? I'm not really sure what age it was when I was like, but they don't know what that is. So what am I supposed to do? It's like if I went to, I'm not gonna go to a shoe store and ask them for like car help. I have to go to a car store. Yeah, like they're doing criminal activities. Maybe there's criminals who know about that kind of stuff. Maybe if I tell them, they can do something, or they can help me, or like they could do something to help me. That's how I was thinking about things. Yeah, and like a lot of people in government of Canada were like hating me for it because they thought that I was a criminal. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's why they're like doing everything they can to make it look like I'm a criminal. I'm like, I'm not a criminal. Technically, you guys are. by the virtue of your deeds. Yeah, it's right on their car, deed speak. You're being a criminal, so thus you were a criminal. Literally, I got mental problems from it because they're actually criminals, but I'm like, I don't really care what you have to say, you're retarded. I know they hired a bunch of retards to work that job, and it's like, why would you do that? Apparently Duckford did it on purpose. Why do you do that? Because you like it when people have problems, and then people get a resolution from it after, and everyone's happy afterwards, and I was like, what is that? You're trying to like instigate war or something? That doesn't look right. Yeah, but that was what that was. Yeah, because they're like kidnapping me, and was like, I was a victim of child abduction, and they were like forced labor, and like they were gonna use me for taxes and stuff, the government workers here, and like they didn't actually know what that was. Like that's the thing, like I knew they didn't know what that was because it was causing a lot of people problems, and they're involving people who like to like implicate them so that they can get out of stuff that way, which is kind of criminal, but it's stupid. And yeah, so I was like, I don't know what that is. So I like asked a bunch of criminals. I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I'm like literally 8 years old. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then I would start making fun of all my teachers because they were so stupid. It was the stupidest shit. But then later on they told me that's what most people are like. Yeah, that's what most people go by. It's not really. And I'm like, that's so stupid. They told me so many stupid things. And they're like, it's because you're Greek. And I was like, are Greek people stupid? And they're like, you don't think that way. If they think that if there's no, if everything is acceptable, then nothing is unacceptable. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, don't argue with them because they're Greek. And I was like, okay. But yeah, that's why I asked them, because I was like, I'm not supposed to, I don't know what to do here because I'm just an 8-year-old child and I think I'm a victim. But if I call the police, they're involved in this, so like they don't want me to get better. They just wanted me to be a victim forever. Which is weird. I think they have mental problems, but I can't really say anything. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And also, they're really poor. And then they're like, Yeah, I said they were really poor. This is what poor people do all the time, but they don't actually work in the government. Yeah, this is what a lot of poor people do in their personal time. And I'm like, they think they're really poor, and they're just trying to make the world a poor place, so they don't feel like a bunch of losers, and like they feel like part of the community. I think that's what they're doing. And also like, yeah, I don't want to be a victim of kidnapping and rape, and I think they were trying to sell me into child prostitution. Yeah, so they can get money out of it that way. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's like gonna do anything. Like I don't even want to get raped. Like, and I'm like, I don't want to get raped when I was like 12 years old. I'm like, I don't want to be raped because I'm only 12. And they're like, okay, if that's how you feel, then we can do something. Later I found out they need to do some community work anyway. They're like, people are wondering why, oh, how are you doing so well? And they're like, ha ha ha, I'm just a good person. Yeah, that's what they said. And I was like, okay. But that was it. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I guess you guys are criminals and you guys know what these things are, but I'm not really, I don't know. And they're like, okay, well. Yeah, and then they all hated me, all the police officers, because I said something. Because they were doing something wrong. Okay, do you understand their logic now? They did something wrong and I was a victim of it, and this victim said something, and then they all started hating me because they did something wrong. That's what they did. I'm just like, what is that? There's a bunch of morons. So I'm like, it's unbelievable what they're doing. And now they're just gonna threaten me saying, we're gonna put you into prison because that's what that looks like. And I was like, you know what it actually looks like? It actually looks like you're just wasting people's time. Literally, it looks like you don't want to work because you're doing everything you can to avoid going to work by wasting people's time, but you're sending yourself to prison because of it. Because it's a waste of time and money, and that's where people go. You see that all the time. You work there, right? And then they all try to accuse me and imply that I was a hooker and a prostitute because they all wanted to have sex with me and I was never going to have sex with them. They can't live in a world where I can't be with them, which is weird. I'm just like, well, you're gonna actually be an accessory to kidnapping, of which I'm a victim of. And then get upset about the fact that you were doing that. And then you're gonna try to convince me to have sex with you. And then that's not gonna work. So you're gonna force me to be a prostitute, and then force me in a situation where I would need the money. So I would have to have sex with you for money, and then you'd be like, at least I had sex with you, even if I have to pay you for it or something. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's literally not happening right now, but that's what you're saying. And you think that it's possible for me to be a fucking prostitute so you can have sex with me? You think that's romantic? That's fucking terrifying. What the fuck? And they're like, yeah, you're gonna fall in love with me because of everything I did. Like, do I have a bruise on my... Oh my god. It looks like I have a bruise there. And I was like, what is that? They're really weird. Yeah, and I was like, well, I'm never gonna have sex with you. Why can't you live in that reality? Like, you don't want to live in a real world with real people actually saying no to you because of who you are as a person. What, you can't live in a reality where you can't have sex with me? So kill yourself then. That's the only other way you're gonna not live in that reality. Because reality is, I'm never gonna have sex with any police officer or any government employee. Sorry, of Canada or anybody who's British. Like, this is not gonna happen. I'm not gonna marry a British person or anybody associated with the British Parliament or any fucking person associated with the Canadian government, including the British territories or the colonies or whatever. Like, I'm not going to. It's gonna be a no for me. And you can't force people into prostitution. That's called human trafficking. You can't actually force people. That's what they were doing, actually. They were getting all a bunch of rapists, but priors near me, forcing me to hang out with them so that these guys won't rape anybody else that they know. They'd be too busy raping me to do that kind of stuff. And I was like, are you insane? You just admitted to fucking child prostitution. And you think that people are okay with that kind of stuff? Like, what do you think would happen to... Yeah, I know in TV shows and movies they get caught and they get sent to prison. That's a movie. You guys going to prison is a movie. Just letting you know. Realistically, I think they're gonna get killed, but that's just me. But yeah. I had no idea what they were doing. It turns out it's because I was never gonna marry them or have sex with them or be friends with them. And they're like, their response is, it's not me that needs changing, it's you that needs to die. And I'm like, alright, you really don't like getting along with other people, do you? Most people just take that and be like, you know what, fuck it. I actually have other people who want to hang out with me, so I don't really care. And most people who are like that wouldn't even go out of their way to talk to people that they don't need to talk to. Honestly, they'd be like, why would I talk to somebody who's gonna reject me? Like, that makes no sense. I like to talk to people who want to be friends with me, and I can see that. I wouldn't force people to be friends with me. That's called coercion. That's not an actual friend, that's just coercing someone to be near you. Ow. Threats, intimidation, and coercion. That's what that is. And that's what they were doing, and they were like, why don't you want to have sex with me? Why don't you want to be my friend? I'm like, because you're ruining my life. You, the police officer, and the government of Canada are actively ruining my life and is an accessory to kidnapping. Thus, I don't like you. Okay, do you understand that? And also, anybody who's not a criminal is going to hate you because they hate that kind of stuff. They don't like people who do that because you guys are basically John Wayne Gacy. Okay? Like, what, you think people like people like that? Oh, newsflash, how'd those things turn out for those guys? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They didn't get this. And then they started calling me ugly and fat and loser and was never gonna job and gonna kill myself or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? Literally, that's how they respond. And then they get all these... That's when they start, like, hallucinating because they don't... Like, they're saying that, but they're like, that's not what I was actually trying to say. That's not what I meant. And they believe their own bullshit. And then they hallucinate and start hearing and seeing things that aren't even there. And I was like, wow. That's insane. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, it makes no sense what they're saying. To me, I'm like, what do you want from me? Literally, it's just like, can you just leave me alone? These are not criminals, they're just engaging in criminal activity because they think that kind of stuff is cool. They're like, yeah, that's so cool, what are you doing? I want to be just like you. I'm gonna copy you, and then you're gonna be my friend after. And I'm like, yo, just stop. Stop, and just be yourself. Because that's creepy, it's fucking nasty. But yeah. Oh, he was. Oh my god. Is that what he was doing from the movie? He's trying to get back at her for trying to be like what they were doing. Like, you're not that type of person. Why did you do that? It's fucking creepy. This is literally why he did that, and then they're not really gonna get married. That's what he really said, but I think they might actually end up getting married. Why? Because he's not actually gonna get it. I think he's being a prick. He's a huge prick. But yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck, bitch? What the fuck? What the motherfuck? Yeah, I'm just like, what is what the fuck is This is literally what the police officers are doing, and they're like, it was all me. You didn't do that. You did that. And they start crying to me and they're like asking me if I can help them out and live their life or something. I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of that. Fuck you. And they're like they've been convincing me that I'm gonna end up in prison. Literally, every officer on and off duty from and out of province have been actively harassing me and threatening me to try to convince me that I'm gonna end up in prison. That's where my life is going. And I'm like, oh my god, are you threatening to send an innocent person to prison because you think that's possible? That's why they make so much movies and TV shows out of it. They're like, yeah, this never works. They always try to come up with this plan. Even when they even work as police officers, and it never works. We're tired of hearing it. We're tired of looking at it. This is every fucking court case we ever been through. We don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Stop doing this shit. That's why they keep making movies and TV shows out of it. Well, there's Law and Order SVU, there's CSI, there's Criminal Minds, and then there's like a bunch of other movies, all criminal movies about action, adventure, and crime, Transformers, yeah, that kind of shit. That's literally what they show all the time. Just stop doing this shit. Well, I'm fucking sick of it. And then they're like, wow, it's gonna be different because it's me. I'm the one doing it this time. This is a crazy person, by the way. They're crazy. But I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I've been telling them to fuck off. I told them I'm not interested in them, and they think that it's not me saying that to them. They're like, you only saying that to like try to cover for us, to like make it seem like you're still cool, but like you actually like us. And I'm like, are you insane? Just think about what you did and how it's affected me, and if that's actually possible for me to like you after. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm not, I don't like you. I don't. I keep telling you this. I don't know why you keep thinking that I like you. Who told you that? You're just gonna make up things in your head, in your mind, and believe that. Yeah, that's called psychosis, you fucking moron.